Enthusiasts, how you doing? So back once again, it's part 2 of Project Bolt. So in this episode we're cutting out the rust. In the previous episode we were just assessing the shell, having a look how much rust there was there, and I spoke to my friend Mark. He's been doing more work than me because the car is located at his workshop, so I just go down when I can at weekends. So following the last episode, I left the car with him with the instruction really to cut out anywhere he sees rust, and then I'll come back in a week's time or whatever with the welding torch and we'll start fitting some new panels back in. So by the time I've gone back to the car, Mark had done a load of work on it. He'd cut out all the rust, got rid of it all, so we were just welding to fresh clean metal, which makes life a whole lot easier. You'll see later on in the photos of cutting out the rust, the top dash rail is completely missing. That's basically because it was barely connected to the car at all, so there were barely any welds there. We literally just pulled it off the top of the dashboard, and behind the top dash rail you can see how bad the welding is. I mean, if you want to pause on that, I've heard of people refer to poor welding as looks like bird shit or pigeon shit. I mean, you just look at that, it's absolutely unbelievable. Aside from that, the only good bit of metal we cut out the car was the battery tray. So we've cut the battery tray out. This will be a race car, so it will run a small lightweight battery which will probably fit inside the passenger compartment of the car rather than in the boot. And I mentioned in previous videos just how quickly this build has been done, so it's taken pretty much 6 months start to finish. The car's finished now. We've got a track day booked for it next Wednesday at Brands Hatch, so we're gonna got a track day booked for the whole day and a workshop down there as well, so it's going to give us an opportunity to run the car, give it a bit of a shakedown, get the steering and suspension dialed in and really get it set up nicely. And I thought it's worth mentioning as well, so like I said last week, my friend is very inexperienced with car mechanics, certainly never built a car before, so to do this in 6 months is quite remarkable. What's even more remarkable though is pretty much 6 months ago, Mark had no tools or equipment. He's got a nice garage for the cars, but there's no kind of workshop space there, so early on, especially when we were cutting and welding, it was making a right mess. So Mark also decided to extend the garage and put a workshop on the side of it as well. So you'll see that the last few photos in this week's update is where Mark's built a workshop on the side of the garage as well. So again, like I say, an amazing achievement that this has all happened within 6 months. I think when you look at some of the photos of the shell last week, it was quite disheartening, and I've seen some other YouTubers recently. I checked in and watched one of DJ SE's video logs from last week. I think he's absolutely gutted because he's gone to do some suspension work on his car. He's found some really nasty and horrible rust there, really disheartened, but keep your chin up, DJ SE. You can do it, you know. There's plenty of videos and guides to watch online, and with the support of the YouTube community, I'm sure you'll get it done. With this build as well, it would have been very easy to kind of give up at the beginning, or certainly not to give up on the shell and just go out and buy a better one. But Mark was quite determined that he wanted to do this. He wanted to learn some things as he went along. So we persevered with this shell. So it probably wasn't far off being scrapped, to be honest. But it's a great feeling when you can restore a shell like that, because it's one more original shell kept on the road, and it's one more mini brought back to life. And just for the techie people watching, I usually film my videos on I call it a GoPro, but it's not a GoPro. It was a present I got at Christmas. I call it a faux pro. It's like a knockoff GoPro. It works pretty well. It was only, I think it was around about 100 quid. So, you know, what can you expect for that sort of money? But this week, certainly this introduction here, I'm filming on a GoPro Hero 6 Black. So it'd be quite interesting to see what the difference in sound quality and video quality is. I've set this at 4K 60 frames per second. I don't think it'll upload at that. I think it still uploads at 1080p. But we'll have a look. Be interesting to see what difference the video quality is. And we're going to use this GoPro to film the track day on Wednesday. So hopefully should have some really nice videos of that first track day coming up soon. And just before we get into the photos, thanks once again if you're a returning subscriber. If you've not subscribed, please do hit the thumbs up button, make a comment, and I'll be back again next week with another update on Project Bolt.